us at every episode and making sure that we have an awesome, really cool breaks all the time, and being our housekeeper. Do it.
Hey. Feeding Bayo his most love. Yay.
And also, I want to give just a massive thank you to Jill, Kelly, and Joe for playing in an awesome campaign.
So much fun.
Playing amazing characters, somehow not dying.
I was banking on.
Yeah.
Close times.
There's a lot of close. Like every once in a while, somebody's like, I felt like I was gonna die every
Fonzie
game.
tries to kill us every game.
I don't like. I was scared so many times, especially in these last few weeks. Like
It's been close.
it's been close, guys.
Well, you know, the story of these three is not over yet, so I might still get my chance. Great.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, all the phenomenal artwork and just absolutely incredible. Streaming D&D is one of the most fun and rewarding things ever, and it is such a privilege to have been able to share this campaign with some wonderful friends and some wonderful people watching as well. So thank you so much. It is an inspiration and a privilege to be able to share this little world with you all who are watching. The Shadows of Dracula.
Pirkanmaan uusi McDonald's-autokaista ravintola on nyt avattu Ylöjärvelle. Tule herkuttelemaan. Tarjolla ikoninen Big Mac ja uusimmat kampanjaburgerit, salaatit ja sandeit sekä piirtelyt.
Good evening and welcome to the Shadows of Dracula. My name is Monty Martin, and this is the Dungeon Dudes weekly Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live stream campaign, Season 2. Once again, I am running the game as Dungeon Master.
And I'm Callum McLaughlin, playing the game as a player. And we're joined today by our good friends.
Jill Denitis also.
We are so excited to be back once again for our brand new campaign. If you are just tuning in for the very first time, Kelly and I post new videos every Thursday on our YouTube channel where we cover everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for players and guides for Dungeon Masters. You can check it all out at youtube.com/dungeondudes.
You can also join us on Tuesday nights when we record the campaign live on Twitch. Check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also watch all the previous episodes of the show on YouTube.
Don't forget you can also check out our complete Season 1 campaign on YouTube. All 50 episodes are there. Check that out as well. And starting now with Season 2, all of our shows are available on major podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify, so check them out there. Season 1 is still going through its backlog, but Season 2 will be starting with episode on podcast formats as well.
Of course, don't forget to take a look at the Teespring links below for all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts. Find the link below or at bit.ly/dungeon.
So we're very pleased to announce that this week's episode of Shadows of Dracula has been sponsored by our amazing friends at Hero Forge, who have sent us some brand new miniatures to use at the table. And they are launching their Hero Forge 2.0 Kickstarter campaign. It just launched today for Hero Forge in full color. So now you can order your Hero Forge miniatures and get them 3D in color or professionally handmade as well. Really slick and actually got my hands on it. Check us out on the Instagram of what Hero Forge sent us. They're one of their games. It's looking really cool. So check them out on Kickstarter now. Of course, if you just want to get some awesome miniatures and yourself.
roots.
Insidious horrors have crept out of the shadow of Drakenheim into a world unprepared for such nightmares. Tales of strange magic, swirling haze, and unspeakable terrors echo through the villages and towns surrounding that accursed place. Now, the Dusk Wardens, a new band of heroes, are tasked with driving out the seeping tendrils of the spreading darkness before it takes root.
Welcome to the shadows. Far away from that damned city of Drakenheim, amidst the thick forests of Oxenwald, where ancient wars of elves and dwarves were fought long before the coming of men, where the druids of the old faith performed blood rites under a full moon, lies the little town of Tyrhaven. There, upon a rocky crag, sits an observatory, outpost of the Amethyst Academy, where for 60 years the old wizard Grummelskin and his lumpy nephew watched the ley lines until his death some years ago. It is only recently that the Amethyst Academy appointed his replacement. Along a single dusty road stretching near the crag are several long houses, small homes of brick and mud and thatched rooftops,
I
and
don't
a few
understand
buildings
why
of
Google Maps
stone
recommended this
which make up
road
the town
or
of
routes.
At the middle of the road is a humble chapel of the Sacred Fire. A pair of competing public houses lie at each end of town. A simple trading post and marketplace spring from the well at the center of town, but the traveler will find nary any shops or a single investment. Vendors are homesteaders from the wagons of grain to the water. Pleasant ice. Like they're past Tyrhaven. Strange noises in the west on dark nights. The roads are always slick. The roads are slick, dark. Hunters sometimes return with talk of strange prints, claw marks found in forests, quite unlike any beasts of nature, creatures known to arcane scholars. Tales are still told of the time a homesteader awoke at midnight to wild shrieks from their barn, and too frightened to see what was outside for fear of their own safety, waited through the night, only to find in the morning their flock slaughtered and myriad perpendicular. Would pass through and never been seen again. Still, these remote instances do little to dull the secluded comfort of Tyrhaven. If you were asked to ask any of the folk of Tyrhaven what they thought of such happenings, they might smile and politely reply that every town has their tragedies. That, and the locals find reassurance in the presence of one Rudy Wick.
Happen to have a little bit of magic, so folks tend to back off when they try to. But, my family here, we've been here for a long time, ever since the makings of Tyrhaven, and kids and my husband. get along just fine. Tending to the things around here.
And tragedies. A few days came back in the middle of the night, dragging the body of his best friend. And some sort of tangle in the forests around Tear Haven. He's content himself to drink his sorrows away, but such is life in the small forests of the Westmore. It seems of late you've had a lodger living in your barn.
Well, I mean, as of late, as of just recent, I mean, it's been a couple of years since, my old friend has been staying with us. I could almost call him one of my family.
Hi, I'm Wilhelm Wolfsbane, and I live in Rudy's barn. I came to the town of Tear Haven years ago when there was a lot of issues that arose during the Civil War of Westmont. Seeing it best to leave major cities behind, I came to the town of Tear Haven seeking a new place to kick up my heels and serve the good people as best I could. Rudy was kind enough to take me in, and in such time I became a bit of a deputy, I guess, to the town, and have been working when I can to help them out and kind of pay my honor to the people who have given me shelter by using my skills. Being classically trained with both blade and crossbow, I use my skills to help the people of this town as needed, protecting them from any such terrors that lurk on the outskirts.
Most of the time, ends up just pulling folks out of Bart Orton's tap house after they've had a few too many to drink, or perhaps dealing with a scuffle of two disagreeing millers once again over prices. The day breaks. It's an overcast day with light rain, but as the sun rises up, it peeks through the clouds, sending rays of light down the central muddy street of Tear Haven. Rudy, how do we get there?
Normally we fly around and pick up Wilhelm along the way. Normally start by checking out the taverns, make sure there's nobody drunk hanging over the railings there, and get them home to their families and make sure they're not causing any trouble.
There's usually one or two.
Usually. It's such a small town and so many families. Really, it's the only place to go, so it's where we entertain ourselves in the dark nights. But I make sure that no one's causing trouble and check in on my husband as he's at the smithy.
Bright and early at the forge, your husband, Audie, a big bear of a man, bristling with hairs that almost burst through his shirt, tends to his forge, working on an order of nails. It seems some of the local farmers are expanding their barns again, and they need more to go with all their fresh lumber that they've had brought down.
Tiny, tedious work, but he knows how to hammer real well.
As you make your rounds up and down this quiet street of Tear Haven, greetings from the farmers and the other hunters and trappers as they bustle through the central way, opening up the morning markets and heading off towards the hills. One rotund man approaches. This is Danforth. He's a rounded face with flush red cheeks. He's always blustering about something and always poking his nose in other people's business. Reputation as the town gossip. And Danforth there's a look of concern in his eyes as the man waddles up towards you with uncharacteristic haste. He says, Good morning to you, Rudy. Wilhelm?
Danforth? Seem to be in a rush this morning.
Mr. Little.
Well, I can catch my breath now. I must admit, you are the object of my haste this morning. I thought it best to come and talk to you first. There's been a bit of a strange... Nothing I think to get too worried about, but I thought I'd best bring it to your care.
And I'm sure you have something very interesting to tell me, of course.
He always does.
Please, I know it's not the ducks again. I promise you that.
We love the ducks. It's just every day is a little much.
I understand. I understand, but you must understand. Present business, I bring concerns the old Hurlick farm.
Farm?
Yes, the Hurlicks. Known family that live a few miles outside town. Tragic, the old Hurlick's wife passed on, and one of his daughters died as well. They've recluded themselves from town. In recent years.
We haven't heard from the Hurlicks in some time.
They causing any trouble?
No trouble. I've been up that way once in a while to visit old Gunter, and we've been friends back in the days, and I wanted to check in on him. He's not been the same since his wife went mad. But, well, the other night I was coming back from Taphouse, and, well, I couldn't help but notice it. There was a color.
A color?
I don't have much any other words to describe it, I must admit, but it seemed in the night, as the moon came up over the ridge, there was a color coming from the farm. I didn't think any of it, but I came up the way and I heard this awful moaning. At that point I thought I'd best not disturb anything, but there was a color all around the farm. I can't even say what color it was. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before.
Where on the farm? Like, did they paint their barn? Or a color?
If I didn't know any better, I would have thought there was a bonfire.
Are you sure you weren't too far into a few cups of ale?
I tell you, you can ask old Bart, and I only had 4 pints.
I mean, after 4 pints of the good brew, I see some colors too.
This ain't nothing like some color that you might see under drunkenness. This was strictly not natural. It gives me a headache to even think of what it looked like.
Well,
Listen, old Gunter's been in a bad way for the past couple of years, and I thought I'd best bring it to your attention. Maybe you go and have a look and see if everything's all right.
put you at ease. We'll go take a look, and it sounds like there's something weird, so we might have to go
Like if we're
ask
describing
around.
bonfire creating a color that you can't explain. You're telling me that you call it a color, but you can't tell me what color it was.
I only seen that color up around the observatory.
That sounds like
We should go to the observatory and see if there's anything that needs checking out and asking questions.
well, up at the observatory. That's where the new mage in town has been hanging out, isn't it? What's his name?
He goes
Reginald?
by Riffraff, Raffer, or
Riffraff. That was it. Riffraff.
Raphael.
I only saw...
His name is Raphael.
Raphael.
Yes.
It's a strange name. I preferred Riffraff, but so be it.
Much obliged. Gunter's an old friend. I'm sad to see he's in such a bad way now. His farm was the envy of all the town only not even a decade ago, it felt like.
If I could do more to help him out in his farm, I would send my kids over, but they're busy off living their own lives.
Mr. Little will investigate this for you and will bring back any news.
Much obliged. Good to have you around.
See you soon, and maybe take it easy at the tavern tonight.
Don't forget to look after those ducks.
I'll stay away.
Let's make our way up to the observatory. Wilhelm, you might do better to try to remember people's names.
I'm trying. I have a hard time with names sometimes. Raphael. Perhaps if the same color, so to speak, appeared at both the observatory and the bar, it makes sense that Raphael might have some information. So I think it's smart that we head there and ask him a few questions.
Let's take a stroll.
Take a stroll up the long stepped crag that leads to the Actonwall Observatory. A squat tower of stone, a great dome from which a telescope protrudes, a long winding stair up to a solitary door, beside which is a small shack. Simple, the amethyst cap, carefully engraved over the doorway. Beside the doorway, embedded in the wall, is a tall marble statue that he hasn't moved in years. But the people still say there's a reason why you don't go poking around the observatory.
One day I hope to have a good arm wrestle with that iron thing.
I've been told you don't go poking around the observatory.
That's just to keep the kids away.
Well, it kept me away.
Exactly. You're one of the kids.
Listen, in my experience, in my set of rules that I follow, rule number 7 is if you hear a rumor, listen to it. There's always truth in rumors.
Maybe a little, but more fairy tale than truth, I would say. Let's get Raph out of here. Out of here.
Who is it?
It's Rudy Whitaker.
And Wilhelm.
I wasn't expecting guests.
Did you say through the door?
I open up the peephole. No visitors.
The best kind of guests are unexpected guests.
We just have some questions for you, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, it's you two.
Yeah, we said that.
Come in. I hurry you through the door, opening it, and then I do like the quick check outside. I close it behind you.
And shall we describe the fellow that two of you see before you? For a strange looking one he is indeed. In fact, we need to get a little bit of a description of what all three of your characters look like now that you're together.
Raphael, or Wrath for short, wears long, flowing robes fit for a mage of the academy. He has a quite obvious
Why is it so
purple
much
mohawk.
traffic in the morning out of Oslo?
Where?
Feels weird.
And by his side, he almost never walks away from his book, an old tome that looks like it's been handed down through generations, with almost like an old school book that you just has seen many years of abuse and use, filled with scribblings and markings from ancient, unknown things. Ooh. his robes are and he has like a cape, and he has a face mask, so he kind of hides his face from the real world. All you can see is his glowing eyes and his off skin. His skin is like almost like a pale blue that seems to change with the light.
Wilhelm is a blonde, slender but strongly built man who wears a long flowing green cloak, greenish gray, and some nice leather armor that he has worn for years. It has a few scuff marks and that, but he maintains it quite well. At his one side is a rapier that he has very clean and polished, and on the other hip is a crossbow. And he obviously also has an eye patch over his left eye. For now. And you can see the remnants of a scar that just peeks out the top and bottom of that eye patch. He has a very prominent blonde mustache that curls up at the ends, and he stands very tall and proper everywhere he goes. And yeah, that's Wilhelm in a nutshell.
Rudy?
So Rudy is a shifter. So with her, you can look at her one way and she kind of looks human, but there are elements of her that look very bestial. Her eyes are an amber color that look a little bit more wolfish than human. She has this red cloak, always wears this red cloak that she carries around with her. It's kind of her calling card that you'll see whenever she is walking down the road. You can spot her a mile away from this bright red cloak she wears with a hood that comes up. She also has a little bit of graying hair. She's actually 53 years old. She's a bit older, and so her kids are even grown up, and she looks a little bit grizzled. She's been in some pretty tough places, so she's got a couple nicks and scars around her. She's not polished by any means. She's a bit gruff on the outside, but and she carries around these axes. She always just has axes, just wherever she can get them. She's always got something to, whether it's to help chop wood or to hunt, a beast in the forest. She's always ready with all of her
TV here
axes.
now? I don't
And
want
so,
that.
for all of us joining along, which are your race classes?
So Rudy is a shifter eldritch knight.
Wilhelm is a human swashbuckler rogue.
And Wrath is a Asmar warlock, Pact of the Tome. And we've started off our new campaign at 5th as well. So these guys have been around the block. little bit more experienced at the gate.
I've seen some things.
Yeah, I've seen some
with my
things around.
eye.
Yes. So as the three of you confer in the dusty ground level of the